Hi, this is Matt Radlack, Director of Security Architecture and Incident Response. I'm joined by Ryan O'Boyle, Security Analytics Manager.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no problem. As I was looking over the incident reports for today, I noticed you called out a trend in executive email compromises. Can you tell me more about that?
We've definitely been seeing an uptick in these investigations. We even had two this morning, and we've really been seeing a lot of instances where executives are being targeted and then their accounts are compromised in specifically Exchange Online. A lot of that.
Can you tell me a little bit about how we're identifying these attacks and also a little bit about what happens afterwards from a forensics perspective?
Sure, a couple different ways. One of the big things we're seeing is geolocation. So seeing abnormal geolocations for a user, new geolocations for the organization. And typically after the compromise happens, we're starting to see a stream of other emails being sent out to users within the organization. So internal phishing attempts.
So, when you're saying that you're seeing these abnormal geolocations, is that something that a customer has to look for, or are we alerting them to that?
The good news is, as we're capturing events from places like Exchange Online, part of the enrichment process allows us to take those external IP addresses and automatically assign it to a location. And then we have alerts designed around showing you things like abnormal geos or new geos too.
So, someone receives an alert on an executive logging in from an atypical geolocation. What are they doing to determine if any sensitive data was compromised?
First thing we do is check the logs, right? Run a quick search on what else has that user done on that time period, right? Pretty wide search to start, but then we could drill in on things like IP addresses and countries and really start to understand it.
So, how long do you think that would take in the average investigation?
You know, typically we're seeing the alerts go off and we're jumping into the investigation within less than an hour after the compromise happens. And then usually it's a matter of a few minutes of understanding the scope of the data impact. So pretty quick and easy to run those searches.
And let's say that the customer didn't necessarily need to lean on the incident response team to help them out. How long you think it could take them from receiving an alert to making the query to be able to know that their data was safe?
I would say a couple minutes. Honestly, as soon as we see the events coming through, it's just a matter of running a couple searches and you can feel pretty safe to understand that "Hey, here's my data impact, here's the scope of my impact."
Okay, thanks. Thanks for bringing me up to speed on these incidents. Look forward to talking with you again next week.
Thanks, man.